After the celebration yesterday, I had a very strange feeling inside. I was happy and proud, but still worried and concerned, so I didn't sleep very well. Kalam was still asleep when I woke up, so I decided to go over to Nunyara and talk to Numa alone. I just have to have some more answers, or at least a clue to where to start. Numa is smiling as usual, but doesn't seem to have much time to talk. The only thing I could perceive in his brief reply was, "Go to the south neighbor village Banyanda. There, Marrkidjbu will give more information." That was all he let me know. So much for giving us advice when we need it, I think disappointedly when going home again. But Kalam talks me out of it. Here we are. We have visited this village only once before, as we traveled through when exploring the south. In the center of Banyanda, we immediately find Marrkidjbu, the clever man. He greets us by the name Malparara. He certainly knows who we are. He tells us that Banyanda means home on water, because the river used to go through here. Even this village was destroyed by the invaders. A lot of dirt that they dug out from the mine was dumped in Banyanda's water. Therefore, the waterway is no longer working, and traders from the east have difficulties reaching the village. While Marrkidjbu is talking with us, he also seems to ask for advice from some other villagers. I guess they are his fellow old wise men. But it is Marrkidjbu that speaks to us. Just like in Nunyara, the clever man with the title seems to be the only one who can speak a language that we can somewhat understand. This village looks different than Nunyara. All houses are built with the acacia wood that grows in the savannah, and most of the inhabitants have reddish robes instead of the brown robes that we are used to. Marrkidjbu asks us if we have some of that magic bread that has helped Nunyara, so we give them some healing bread. They instantly eat it, and a little new resident is born. Yes, the looters killed and enslaved in this village as well, of course. They have been suffering just as much as Nunyara. I weep quietly when I realize how hard it must have been for them all in this world. The despair in their eyes is now fading, and I spot a glimmer of hope. The little newborn is so far blissfully ignorant of their sad history. He just runs into the nearest house to jump on the bed. We received a few quests from Marrkidjbu in Banyanda. They want us to learn some about their history, and they want me to restore the waterway going through the village. To learn about history, we have to find artifacts and treasures from the old times. Many treasures were hidden underground to prevent the looters from stealing them. The already stolen treasures were loaded onto ships and lost forever when the ships left their village. When we told Marrkidjbu that we have seen many sunken ships on our exploration trips, his eyes brightened. He told us that we must search those sunken ships as well. There can be valuables that will be useful for us and also for understanding their history. In many different hidden treasures, there will be smithing templates. We need to find at least 2 different types, one for Kalam and one for me. The smithing template shall be put on golden armor to make a pattern. The pattern represents the origin of the armor. When we have a complete decorated armor each, we shall return to Marrkidjbu in Banyanda to show it to him. After that, he told us, we can help them with the waterway through the village. The only treasure that Marrkidjbu knows of is the one that he hid himself. It is underground, marked with some colored stones far east. To find the treasure that Marrkidjbu dug down, we should follow the river leading east from Banyanda. It turns to the north right before it enters the sea. We should then follow the river north until we come to a lake and follow the river east from there. That river is called the Flying Serpent's right wing. When we follow that river, we will first come to a lake called the Flying Serpent's belly. Then follow the river straight forward, which is the Flying Serpent's left wing. At the end of this river, we should walk through a forest, and just before the next body of water, called the Flying Serpent's lover, we will find the treasure. The treasure will be found near the belly of the Flying Serpent's lover. I'm just confused by this description. When studying the map closely, we could somewhat discern some rivers looking like a serpent with wings. And if I really try my best, I can see that the Flying Serpent is reaching for another serpent with a big belly. The more I look at the map, the more I can see the Flying Serpent and his lover. Equipped with the special tools needed, we decided to go straight east from our house Malparara instead of going south to Banyanda first. We think that will save us some time. However, the search area is large, according to Marrkidjbu's description. We might need to search for a long time to find the treasure. Marrkidjbu told us that the treasure contains of rare building materials, but also small trinkets hidden in the gravel. He called it trail ruin. To dig out the trinkets in the gravel, we must use a brush as an archaeological tool. Otherwise, the hidden secret in the gravel will be lost. The reward for the quest will be that we can keep all valuables that we find, as well as the decorated armor that we make from the templates. He told us they don't need it anymore. Marrkidjbu will be happy just knowing that we take care of the old treasures, and the heirlooms will be protected in our possession. At last we found it. Looking at the map, the trail ruin is right below the belly of the Flying Serpent's lover. Time to start digging. I'm so curious what we will find and what these colorful stones are. So, we dig around the gravel, and the trail ruin seems to be much bigger than we expected. We continue digging and brush out the suspicious gravel that we find. Most of the time it is a candle or something that isn't very valuable in our eyes. We still look for the armor templates. But we found some really nice looking ceramic tile stones. Eventually we dig out the entire trail ruin and go home with all the things we have found, but no smithing templates. Next day we decide to look for sunken ships in the sea southeast of Banyanda. The looted ships must have sailed there, we think. When passing Banyanda, the villagers there cheer at us. We sail around looking for sunken ships but haven't found any so far. However, after a while we spot a village that we haven't seen before. I decide to mark the village on my map and talk to the villagers. The Marrkidjbu here already knows about Malparara and the Challenge of 9 and wants to help as far as he can. From him I learned that an underwater ruin will be found outside their coast. In there we might find a chest, if it still exists. He himself has dug down their treasures somewhere south of the village, and he made a map of where to find the treasure. If he could remember where, he would have told me, but it was so many hundreds of years ago. If the chest is still in the underwater ruins, the map should be in there. He tells us we can keep all the things if we find it. It doesn't take long until we find the underwater ruins, and Kalam quickly finds the chest with the treasure map. Makes it really easy to find the treasure. It is hidden in a sand shore south of the village. And it sure has some nice things in it: gold, iron, and even a diamond among other things. In the ocean farther south and east, we find a sunken ship finally. In one of the chests there, we find another treasure map. This must have been made by the looters, since it definitely is a looter's ship. And here I also find 2 smithing templates. At last we have the main thing we're looking for, but we need a few more of them. The treasure map leads southeast of the ship. Once again the treasure is hidden in the sand. Another very nice loot in this treasure. I guess the looters stole most of the valuables and left the candles and ceramic stones in the villages. It's funny how they stored fish with gold and iron though. Very far south, another village, Marrkidjbu, tells us about a group of underwater ruins outside their coast. In the several chests in those ruins, we find yet another treasure map, but no smithing templates. We search several ruins and sunken ships, and we find many more treasure maps to examine as well. From all buried treasures we get some really good loot. On our way back home, we have some company by a dolphin. It's like she's trying to tell us something, perhaps warn us for danger. I never had the chance to warn Kalam. Someone is shooting at us with a trident, but Kalam sees it and takes it out. After several days of treasure hunting, we decide to go home. We have enough smithing templates to make 1 set of gold armor each. So tomorrow we will try to figure out how to make the heirloom armors that the Marrkidjbu in Banyanda wants to see. When I woke up the next morning, Kalam had already searched through the library for writings about ancient armor and how to create them from smithing templates. He had found an old dusty book that hasn't been touched in a very long time, and in that book he found some clues. In a smithing table we shall put smithing templates, an armor piece, and gems or ingots to color the pattern. I have troubles deciding what color I want to decorate my heirloom armor with. Redstone for red, amethyst for purple, lapis lazuli for blue, or diamond for turquoise color. Kalam makes his armor first, since I have troubles deciding what color I want to have. He will use amethyst from the singing cave that we found in the mine. At last I made up my mind. I used diamonds for my golden armor. Until it's time to go to Banyanda and show Marrkidjbu, we put up the valuable armor sets on the armor stands. Said and done, the next morning we go to Banyanda in our new armor. Now we just have to find Marrkidjbu. I'm sure he didn't expect us to be back so soon, so he's in his workshop doing his crafting. After waiting for quite a while, Marrkidjbu finally finishes his work and comes out to talk to us. He looks at us both thoroughly and discusses with his fellow wise men, then turns to us and says, "You have certainly achieved the challenge to find old relics. I am amazed by your bravery and tenacity, and your choice of heirlooms is perfect. Before you help us with the waterway, I want to tell you about the lesson of this challenge. In the beginning there was dream time, when all life was created. In that time the natural world, animals, trees, plants, hills, rocks, rivers, all were created by our ancestors. Since the beginning of times we have sung the stories of the creation and its richness. The land gave us many valuable things, which we treasured and honored. Most of our treasured things were stolen by the invaders, but they had other values for them. They sold it for coins, which had no value for us. The few things that we could hide in time were dug down in secret places, only to be uncovered when the right time would come for the valuables to serve a new purpose. We value the richness that is given to us from the nature, not from coins. The old treasures will have new journeys and serve new purposes. They are not valuable for us anymore, since we were given other gifts from the dreaming. A waterway snaking through our village will be the greatest gift for us, and your reward will be all the treasures that you have found in trail ruins, buried treasures and sunken ships. You have now learned some about our story and how history can change the value of things. You can continue to your third challenge once the waterway is done and a sign with our name, Banyanda, is put on the dock. Kalam goes home to study the old lore in the books we were given from Numa, and Marrkidjbu quickly shows me on my maps how he wishes the water to run through the village. I spent the rest of the day opening up the water. I built 3 bridges over the river to make it easier to move around in the village. Now it's much more like home on water, as Banyanda means. The villagers are more than happy for the water, the bridges and the bread that I brought for them to have more children. Marrkidjbu tells me that we can put up a sign with a village name tomorrow, and I find an empty bed to sleep in. In the morning, Kalam arrives to the village. He has studied the old lore about Banyanda, and now it's time to place the sign on the dock. Banyanda, home on water. Now it is a home on water for real. Before we left Banyanda, Marrkidjbu thanked us and gave us a few words for our next challenge. Remember the flying serpent, he said. It will be a symbol for Banyanda. I will cherish the memory of Malparara and the flying serpent that helped us with a new serpent through Banyanda. You should now go to Kirawin. It will be marked on your map when you come home. Marrkidjbu in Kirawin will tell you more. The close-up map over Banyanda looks really nice with the water going through the village. And there is Banyanda marked out on the big map as well. The second challenge is done just in 1 week, and the third challenge will start in Kirawin. We don't know anything about that village. It will be so exciting. See you next time. Bye for now.